Hey everyone, welcome to North Dakota Pulse. We are back for another show about the North Dakota legislative session of North Dakota. Yeah! Tonight, I'm just going to talk about good news. I'm going to talk about the bills that seem really good. I will say one thing is that I don't have the capacity to deeply read into everything, so these are just kind of, I read through them and they seem like good directions. But I am waiting for our primary stakeholders of some of them to, say, this is a good bill or this is a bad bill before I'm fully committed to any of these. So I want you to go in the weekend realizing that there's still good things. Like, it can't just all be the bad bills, right? There are things that we do to make the world better, and we should recognize that too. So let's get into it. The first bill is going to be House Bill 1095. That's a Child Protection Service Liaison in Schools. This is making sure that we have child protective services in schools to assure that our youth are safe. It's having a committee hearing on 113 at 2:30 p.m. next week. We have House Bill 1097, Accessibility Study for Government Services for Deaf and Hard of Hearing. That will be a bill that will be heard next week on 114 at 3 p.m. We have House Bill 1098. This looks to be a scholarship for North Dakota kids who are getting into teaching to incentivize our kids to stay here, grow up, become adults, and teach other kids. It's the perfect system. We'll be hearing that on the 14th of next week. That'll be 9 p.m. We have House Bill 1100 that will provide food support for youth in schools. This is different than the larger effort for free school meals, but it is something that regardless will help out schools that are struggling to feed kids. That will be heard in committee on 114 at 9 a.m. We have House Bill 1106. That is $2 million in funding for public transportation. That has been heard. It had favorable testimony and something I personally support. HB 1114, the insulin cap bill, was heard to favorable testimony from real people, and that is currently in committee. HB 1143 is general money to support, I believe, food banks is the intention of it, or to help food insecurity across the state. I believe it's $10 million, so that's something that's really going to help out. Food cost and need have been a huge issue across North Dakota, and this can go to help remedying that. All of our food banks have received less while the demand for them has increased. So love that we're doing this. It's a great thing that we're doing. That will be heard in committee on 116 at 2 p.m. We have House Bill 1178. That is a bill requiring school districts to allow students to go and vote. You cannot punish a student that is taking time off to go vote in an election. That's great. Students should vote. They should practice democracy. We all should. Yay, democracy. They'll be being heard next week, 117 at 11:15 p.m. We have House Bill 1186. This is a state rock bill. This is about naming our state rock. And they would like the Knife River Flint to be that titular state rock. If you have strong feelings about state rock and want to fight to the death about it over another rock, you should submit testimony. And you'll be able to on 116 at 11 a.m. We have House Bill 1217 that will be decriminalizing HIV in our state. We still criminalize it. We had a bill like this last year which failed. It has not yet had a scheduling for committee. We have SB getting into Senate 2043 that revokes license for teachers convicted of sexual crime. That'll be heard next week, 1:15 at 10 a.m. We have SB 2079 that's making peer support specialists considered Tier 4 for mental health professionals. This is a great direction to assure that we are able to adequately compensate our peer support specialists, recognize them as important and valuable within the work that we do, and integrate them into our processes of help and healing to all patients. It has already been heard to favorable testimony. We do not yet know how the committee is voting on it. We have SB 2145, Protection for First Responders. The committee hearing will be 114 at 10:45 a.m. So to summarize, we are protecting first responders, increasing voting rights, reducing LGBTQ+ criminality, increasing peer support, increasing funding for food insecurity, testing access for disabilities, and increasing our protection of kids in multiple ways. There's a lot of different bills that have come out. Some of them can be also equally awesome, but we are already 400 bills in. So there's still a lot of work to make sure we know what these bills do, who they impact, if they're doing what we think they are, and trying to listen to the primary stakeholders that are involved with this. Maybe that's our education system, maybe that's our healthcare system. But keep in mind there is good things too. The session can often be a stressful thing about different bills that terribly impact people, but it's also us across our state trying to make sure we have a government that supports us as North Dakotans. And we can't lose sight of that. I know it can be easy to get into the weeds with issues. I know that we can see people as our enemy and start to perceive individuals as villains, but I try really hard to believe that the folks of the state truly care about it and each other. And we may disagree on issues, but if we step back and find our shared values, I think we can get to a better place. And that's what I want to do in my work. So thank you for joining me. I'll have the bad stuff on Sunday as we get into the week coming up so you can prepare. That's what I got for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Yay, democracy. Yeah, democracy. Democracy. Yeah. Also, there's a bill to like celebrate specifically the NDSU bison. So sorry about that, Fighting Hawks. Like, sorry.